Yo, what's up with y'all? How y'all doing? A couple of y'all were asking for my routine, and today is the day that I deliver that. Not only will this routine help your average player get better over time, if you're consistent enough with it, it will also help you get into that right mindset enough to create your own routine about something else. To get good at the game, it doesn't matter how much you play. The only thing that matters is what you do while you play. And if you find the right way to utilize that time, you'll end up improving way faster. I guarantee that if you follow along with this routine, you will become a better player. But without any further ado, let's get to it! First thing I do when I'm starting off my routine is free building. You want to get used to your sense all over again. That's what you want to work on when you're free building. You want to try everything that's possible while making sure you're comfortable with your sense and re-understanding it. And what you see in the background is just me warming up. And I was just trying to get used to my sense because I haven't played in a long time. So I was just doing a bunch of random builds and edits, and I recommend you guys do the same thing. And that's pretty much all I'm doing. But next up we have practicing without edit on release. Reminder, this is my routine, but you can follow along. If you ever wonder why controller players like SJ are so fast, it's because they don't use confirm edit on release. But in most cases, the real way to become a faster editor is to play without edit on release. So I'll make it a big deal to practice this every single time I get on the game. Because yeah, of course right now I'm not that good with it, but when I eventually get it down, I'm going to be way better. And the fact that I practice every single time I'm on, it gives me a higher chance of learning it faster. When doing this, it's best to practice for like 20 to 30 minutes. I mean, hey, that's better than nothing. Next up is all about doing consistent retakes. Alright, now I want you to go to TikTok, Instagram, wherever you see anybody doing a retake, or you could come up with your own if you want to. Just make sure it's not easy and it's not too difficult. Either way it goes, you just want to get a good free build in. And you want to do it step by step in order. Of course you can do moves individually, but can you do them chained together? That's the challenge, and in most cases you can't. That's why you have to practice it, doing it over and over, to not only do it individually, but in combos. Even I struggle with this. Doing retakes is not easy, but the more I do them, the better I'll get at them. As long as you're putting the effort in, you will see improvement. And remember, it's not impossible to do, it's just a challenge. And it's okay to fail, as long as you try again. Next up, I will usually go into Raiders map, and then go into the piece control area. You should see a lot of stationary bots. Well, as soon as you enter, it'll be to the left, like right here. And you have to run into it, you can't shoot it. And by the way, the map code is at the top of the screen. You put it on play all, and your only goal is to come in here and shoot the bots. Simple. One thing you want to do when playing this map is you want to play it 100%. You want to try your hardest. If you practice at 50%, you're not practicing, you're just playing around. One thing I realized is that all the mistakes you make at 50% are not real mistakes. And what I mean by that is, they're not natural. That's not how you usually play, so those are not your usual mistakes. And that's why you always want to practice at 100%. Now let's say you always do this move right, and you always mess up on one step when you try to do it. And you keep messing up because you go between not trying and then trying. A good example of this is moving fast and then slow. You want to always try to keep the same speed when playing. If you don't, you'll fail to see the mistakes you make. And that just means you're not playing at your full potential. And one way to know if you're a victim of this is if you feel like your sensitivity is always changing. That's because one day you were actually moving your fingers and the next day you didn't. So now you may find it difficult to do the things that you usually do. No, the game is not out to get you. Sometimes you may just have lazy fingers, and that's okay. That's exactly why we free build and got used to our sensitivity first. And now we're pushing ourselves to the limit in Raiders map. Also, another way to know if you're not playing for real is if there's a move that you know how to do. If there's a move that you've been trying to do for the longest, and every now and then you end up pulling it off, that's because sometimes when you're actually playing for real, your fingers end up moving at the fast enough speed for you to actually get it done. And you surprise yourself. And that's only because you're not putting in that same consistent effort. If you don't believe me, try it out for a week. But anyways, the takeaway from this is to make sure that you're trying at 100% at your full potential. Because if you're not, everything you practiced when you weren't playing for real is going to be so much harder when you're trying to do it while you're playing for real. That's why you always want to put yourself under serious conditions when you practice. Don't get too comfortable and creative. Next up is 1v1s or PGs, whatever you want to call it. I use this to clear my mind. In here, I mainly work on my reaction time. How fast can I adjust to something? How quickly can I switch up the game plan? But in ones, especially if you're going against a good player, that's all you're going to be doing. You want to look for a counter for every single move that exists. And when you're playing this, all you need to think about is what you're going to do next. And when you PG, of course you have unlimited mats. So therefore you can react any way you want to. And this gives you the freedom to work on a lot of scenarios. And to be honest, this is where I built up most of my game sense. Prime me, back then, this is all I would do. I wouldn't even care about anything else but 1v1s. I didn't care about Battle Royale, rank, none of that. Just 1v1 me, and that's all I wanted. This built up an insane muscle memory, and my reaction time is paired with it. The only way to know if you reach this point is when you're automatically reacting without trying. Notice how everything I do and everything I go into has a purpose. I'm in it for a reason, for a specific reason. I'm not in there just to play around. I played creative for a little bit to get used to my sense, and no, I did not get carried away. I didn't stay in there for longer than 20 minutes. You never want to stay in credit for too long. That's only going to affect you negatively. I got used to confirm made it on release off again, and I also got in some good free build drills, and I also got in some good retakes. And then after that, I got used to pushing myself to the limit, making sure if I'm doing something, I'm doing it confidently, forcing myself out of my comfort zone and going full throttle into every action I'm doing. Every move, every edit, every play, every thought is full throttle and consistent. That's what it's like to play at full potential. And after I acknowledge that I'm in my full potential, I go into 1v1s to sharpen myself even further by bettering my reaction time and my muscle memory to every scenario possible, abusing the fact that I have unlimited mats. Now it's time for realistics. And I bet you're wondering, what are we in realistics for? Remind you, the goal is to become a well-rounded player. I'm basically compressing myself down and relearning to apply all of those same skills, but with less mats. So I'm forced to play smarter and actually think about what I'm doing. And of course, I have been in a bunch of these situations in 1v1s, but I have to be way more conservative. Also, the fact that I'm being way more conservative, that makes me more liable to make more mistakes. And while I'm in here, I'm gonna look for all of my common mistakes. And what I mean by that is, I'm gonna look for everything that I do a mistake that causes me to lose damage or the game. Therefore, when I get into a real game, I'll know what not to do in a realistic situation. And of course, I've been through this plenty of times, so I know what not to do already. But like, if there's any more things that I didn't know not to do, this will make it clear for me. Also, there's another practice method in realistics. It starts off with you being out in the open and letting them crack your shield. You need to be weak enough for them to rush you. This is for defensive healing. You want to practice making boxes, creating space, and getting counter damage the whole entire time. Me personally, I did suck at this, but I got way better at it because when I tried this method, it made me way better with defensive healing. And once again, all you have to do is just get weak, let them rush you, and you try your hardest to survive. It reminds you, a lot of people have different play styles, so they may rush you differently, and that's the fun of it. And that's also how I focus on my weakness. If you have the same one, you can do the same thing. Before you go anywhere, don't forget to use code FRIGGY3X in the Fortnite item shop. If you truly learned something and you want to show your appreciation, just use the code. But anyways, thank you, I love you. Next up is playing Reload ranked over Battle Royale ranked. In most cases, it's way better than playing Battle Royale ranked. Okay, now imagine all of those scenarios that you were just in when you were playing creative. Like, let's say I wanted to practice defensive healing, right? Because that's my main issue and I can't get better at it. If I wanted to practice my defensive healing or just practice any scenario in general in regular Battle Royale, I wouldn't get that many reps in. Because not every fight is guaranteed to go that way, and not everybody is real. There's mostly bots. But in Reload, you're put into so many different scenarios back to back without a break. And most of the time you will die, but it's okay. It's all about how fast you can adjust your reaction time. And to be honest, this is the better practice method. I would choose Reload ranked over Battle Royale ranked any day. You're probably gonna get like 5 real encounters when it comes to playing Battle Royale ranked. But when it comes to Reload, 90% of the players that you're gonna fight are gonna be real. And if it's near the end, most of them are gonna be good. And this is what we want, because we want as many real scenarios as possible. We want to test our skill, and this all leads to the last part of my routine.
I'm gonna stick to Reload as far as like the rank goes, because the real rank is still boring to play. So I think as far as competitive will go, it'll be fun. In comp, it'll be fun, but ranked is never gonna be fun. You know what I mean? At this point in the game, I don't think any season to make rank fun. So like bringing arena back.
Lastly, we have Vod Reviewing. If you have some type of way of clipping every single way you die and every single time you want to fight, I recommend you to do that. But Fortnite has something built in for that. It's called replays. If you turn on your replays, you'll notice that it saves every single game you play, even creative. And in these replays, you can watch everything back. You can slow it down, reverse it, you can do anything you need to. And while you're watching your Vod reviews, I want you to take notes on everything you did wrong. Like, do a brief study of the whole entire day. This is only if you're serious about getting good. And sometimes it's better to look from the opponent's perspective. That way you can see exactly what they did to kill you. And so you can see yourself in the moment doing the move that got you killed. And that way you will know if anything you're actually doing is working and if you should continue to do it. Doing this once every 2 days is going to make you a way better player overall. How do you remember what you practice? You want to make 3 words or 3 phrases that describes what you want to remember in full detail. and you want to write them on a piece of paper. You want to look at this paper before you get into every game. You want to visualize it first. And what I mean by visualize, you want to see yourself doing this step or doing that exact move that you want to remember in your head without you playing the game at all though. Basically like shadow boxing. You ever seen a boxer close their eyes and punch at the air? They're pretending they're in a fight and they're coming up with their own reactions. But I don't want you to go into a game and fully lock on to doing these moves and these moves only. I want you to play as you do, normally like usual, and let them come to you naturally. That way you won't get fixated and lose your skill, because that will happen when you fixate on a certain move. Now that you know my routine, how do you find a routine for yourself? First of all, you want to go through the basics and find out what you can and cannot do. And then you want to find out exactly why you can't do it, and then focus on that and that only. Or it could be something totally different, like you want to learn something new that you don't know about at all. You want to find that one game mode that puts you in that situation a lot, or just watch the pros do it. So let's say you want to be good at solo squads. Watch somebody that's good at solo squads play solo squads. I want you to think about what they're doing and why it works, and then apply it to yourself. Or let's just say you're really bad at 1v2s. There's a bunch of pros that 1v2. Watch them and find out exactly what they do to survive in a 1v2 and apply that to yourself. It may be a specific move, it may be a whole strat. Find out what it is and apply it to yourself. But you want to do this daily. Either it's an action, a scenario, add it to your routine. But remind you, it can't just be anything. It has to be things that you really want to learn. And this method should work for you. But anyways, that's it. Thank y'all for watching the video. I appreciate all y'all some W's. If you made it this far, hit the sub button. Also, I have a Discord down in the description. I'll be in there every now and then. You can come play the game with me. You can talk to me. You can watch a movie. I don't know, whatever it is. But peace out. Have a good night and have a good day. Make sure y'all stay safe. Bye. Willy Wonka likes my chocolate.